I just want to remind my colleagues that we really have known for more than 60 years what actually saves women's lives. It's skilled attendance at birth, treatment to stop hemorrhages, access to safe blood. I actually held a hearing in this room, and a World Health Organization physician told us that if women had access to safe blood in sub-Saharan Africa, some 44% of maternal mortality disappears. They don't have access to it. And I work with a lot of NGOs, including one that pushes safe passages to ensure that women are well-resourced as they approach the time of the birthing of their child in order to preclude either a dead baby and or a dead mother. It's all about how we respond to both. And abortion, I do believe, needs to be looked at as an abandonment of both, certainly of the child, and I would argue equally the mother. A landmark study by the Bill and Melinda Gates and published in the British journal Lancet in 2010, backed up by a WHO report about maternal mortality, shows that we're making progress, not as much as all of us would like, but it is some 40% lower than 1980. But contrary to prevailing myth, the study underscored that many nations that have laws prohibiting abortion also have some of the lowest maternal mortality rates in the world, including Ireland, Chile, and Poland among them. Let me also point out to my colleagues that, Bernard Nathanson founded NARAL. Betty Friedan, Lawrence Lader, and Bernard Nathanson, the leading abortionists in the 60s and the 70s. He actually ran the largest abortion clinic in New York City. Dr. Nathanson quit doing abortions and wrote in the New England Journal of Medicine, "I've come to the agonizing conclusion that I have presided over 60,000 deaths." And he said, what brought him to that conclusion? He was working in St. Luke's Hospital on prenatal interventions, blood transfusions, prenatal surgeries, which then were really in their infancy, but have now blossomed to the point where children can be treated for all kinds of diseases and anomalies while still in utero. But he came to the conclusion that it was schizophrenic to, in one operating room, to be treating that child as an unborn patient, one of his patients, and then in another operating room to be dismembering or chemically poisoning or in some other way committing an act of violence against that child. We've seen breathtaking breakthroughs in the area of fetal surgeries over the last 40 decades, ever since Nathanson made that discovery in his own heart and mind. We need to look at the unborn child as a patient who may be in great desperate need of interventions. Abortion is antithetical to that. It kills, and not all the babies die. Sometimes, especially when there's twins involved, and I've actually met some abortion survivors. One woman who was the object of a chemical abortion, saline amniocentesis, that didn't work all the way, and she now has cerebral palsy as a direct result of that. So some of these children do survive. The reason why partial birth abortion, according to the originator of that terrible method, he has said that is one way of precluding a live birth. In other words, an abortion where the child is a survivor. Years ago, CDC used to note that some 500 children per year would survive later-term abortions. Now the abortionists try to ensure that that possibility is precluded by using the most lethal means possible to kill the baby. The Mexico City is all about holding harmless the child, as I said earlier, equally the mother.